Embracing digital minimalism has been one of my biggest challenges. I found letting go of digital habits far harder than decluttering my physical items. In 2022, I decided to start taking this seriously. This was the year I quit social media for good and significantly reduced my screen time. I found this to have wonderful benefits on my mental health. It's meant that I can invest time in my offline life, which I find far more nourishing. I may not be perfect, but I'm so glad I took these first steps to a healthier and happier life. I wasn't sure actually how these cookies were going to turn out. It's my first time baking them and I'm not the most confident baker. I much prefer cooking, and I also had to swap out a couple of ingredients, so I didn't have any bicarbonate soda but I did a baking powder, so I hope that's okay. And also I should have sieved the baking powder because it came out in quite a few lumps, and I've just seen might be a few lumps still in the mix, but I've just nibbled one and it tastes pretty good. So I do recommend this recipe book. I've had this is probably the first vegan recipe book I got when I went vegan 5 years ago now, and it's really good. And it's really good I think for beginner vegans or people who just want to eat more plant food, because it's really nice as it has a lot of everyday cooking and swaps for meals that people regularly eat as non-vegans, like shepherd's pie, spaghetti bolognese, macaroni cheese, the kind of comfort food, and lots of baking and cake recipe stuff. And I've not really done many of those. I'd really like to do the cinnamon buns. That might be next on my list because I've only ever done those, when it's it comes out of a packet basically and you cut them up and put them in the oven, which is nice. But I would like to make it from scratch and get more confident in my baking. But these are definitely the kind of cookies you need a cup of tea with, so I think I'm going to make myself one now and snuggle up on the sofa with Sky. I recently bought this journal and I wasn't meaning to buy it. I was actually online for something completely different, and as happens when you're on the internet, this got recommended to me. So it's a writer's journal, and it's more of a workbook. So it says it's creating a space for writers to be inspired, and it's full of like information and different prompts and exercises for you. And I thought it'd be really nice just to work my way through this. And another reason I bought it was I do a lot of my writing on my laptop, so that's where I do my newsletter, and just generally I write in my Notion actually. So I thought this would be a nice excuse to write, you know, away from a screen. And I think that's when I first wanted to reduce my screen time and get more into digital minimalism. I realised I needed to invest a lot more time and energy in investing in hobbies that are still enriching and away from the screen. I think if you just try and go cold turkey and just stop using your phone or come off social media, something like that, and you don't have anything in place, then it really is much more likely to just fail, and it might put you off entirely. And that's something that I picked up when I read Digital Minimalism by Cal Newport. I know I mentioned that book to you guys a few times, but it's definitely one of my favourite books, and I still go back to it regularly as it just reinforces why I want to be more intentional, I suppose, with my time online. And especially as a content creator, you know, it's quite easy to get sucked in to being online, and I think there's loads of upsides to it. I mean, obviously there's huge upsides to being on the internet, and I love my YouTube channel and I love watching other YouTubers, and I find a lot of joy in that, and obviously connecting with this community. This guy's listening to me, she's like, who are you talking to? But I think it's all about being intentional with it. I actually wrote in my blog and my newsletter a few months ago about digital minimalism and steps I've taken to be a bit more intentional, so I'll link that down below. And I'll also be writing another newsletter in the next couple of weeks, because it will be 6 months when I've actually been off of all social media, apart from YouTube obviously, and that's been a really interesting experience. So I want to like chat about how that's felt, how it's impacted my life. So yeah, if you want to see that, then there's always a link in my description to subscribe. It's completely free to subscribe to my newsletter, and I'd love to have you. But yeah, I think for me, the hobbies that I love to do away from the screen is, I'm sure you know if you watch much of this channel, is walking, cooking, reading, now journaling and writing away from the screen. And yeah, and also would like to pick up maybe some more creative habits. Hi Sky. Playing with Sky, and also like things I'd like to do some more painting. I used to love doing some watercolours, and I've just not really picked that back up, and maybe a wee bit of embroidery. I might like to do that this year, but I think it's just been about being intentional and having a plan with it. But I'd love to hear your thoughts about digital minimalism and your experience with it, and any methods you have to try and just be a bit more mindful about the time you spend online, and what are your sort of preferred hobbies away from the screen. I'd love to hear them. But I think Sky would like her second walk of the day. Do you want to go on a walk? Yes? Okay. So I'll leave this vlog here. Thank you very much for watching as usual, and I will see you guys next week.